and welcome to Not Tidefall. My name is Lindsay. I'm here, or I didn't say that right. I should have been, hello, everyone. And hello, everyone. So, as you can see, this is Not Tidefall. My name is Sean. I'm here to run a game for my lovely players here called Heist. We are very excited to play this game. You might have seen us play this once before. A bunch of other people on the internet are playing it right now. Savannah ran this game last time. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just looked at these rules about 20 minutes ago. So we're going to see how this goes. But a couple of announcements before we get started. You'll, as you are aware, this is normally our Tidefall slot. However, due to unforeseen circumstances, we are having to postpone Tidefall this week. I think we're going to try to play next week instead. So you will actually get a double header of Tidefall next Thursday and the Thursday after, and then we'll resume our normal schedule from that point forward. So come check us out next Thursday, same time, same place, for the continuation of that game. Saturday, we have our next session of Survivors Complex. That will be picking up on our awesome adventure that we are sort of getting into the boiling point, the climax of this arc, and it's getting very exciting and dangerous. And so come check us out for that. It's 5:30 Eastern time. And then following that on Monday, we'll have our next session of Wild Space. A bunch of goofy space-faring adventurers trying to stop evil tentacle portals from taking over the universe, or something like that. The game is at 8 o'clock Eastern time, and playing Dungeons and Dragons, and that's run by our very own Ryan. So come check us out there too. And as usual, we'll be playing video games and stuff throughout the weekend. So keep an eye on our Twitter for that. I am stalling. I don't think I have anything else. So let's go ahead and start talking about the game. So since we've only run this once before and only one of the players here has played in it before, I don't think, well, Morgan, did you play in this last time? No,
I was able to.
Okay.
And
so
to be totally transparent, I've never actually played this game.
No,
I've only ever run it that one time.
None of us have played in it. Savannah has had the most passing glance.
If you do want to see me run this game, we did a great Mad Max themed one that you can check out on our YouTube. Yeah,
we'll get into the theme of this one in a second. Okay, I'll go and talk about the theme a bit. So this is going to be a prison break themed Heist. As per my standard when running literally anything is to not follow the rules the first time I do it. So typically you are running a heist of HoneyCon 2017, which I assume is 2018 now, in this game, and you're a bunch of bears trying to steal some honey from this convention. However, this one is going to be like I said, a prison break themed. So the goal will be to get what they need to escape where they're currently at. And we'll get more details on that in a little bit, but let's go ahead and do character creation. So this game is incredibly simple. We're going to create our characters by rolling 3 dice, 3 D6s. You can get them in a set of Monopoly. So we are going to go ahead and roll those. So first we're going to roll for our descriptor. Then you're going to roll for what kind of bear you are, and then your role in the group. So I'm just going to have you guys roll. I'll say all of you 3 of you roll 1d6 together, and we'll go ahead and do our descriptors all at the same time.
Okay.
Love that audio. Dylan, what did you get?
Oh yeah.
Unhinged.
What?
Unhinged.
Just like right from the beginning? Okay.
All right, love it. Savannah, what'd you get?
I got slick.
Slick. Okay.
Oh
and
god,
Morgan?
that's the worst thing I could get.
Morgan, what'd you get?
Let's see. We're doing it. Wait, which one are we doing?
Descriptor.
Descriptor. Okay,
Yes,
sorry.
The
attribute.
first drop down on the character sheet.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the sheet for the actual handout. I'm not looking at the so. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
What attribute?
Sorry. Black? No, that's the type of bear. You're kidding. There it is. Okay, I was like, this is the wrong thing. Also unhinged.
Yes!
Which we have two.
I think since
Slightly
there are
unhinged.
so few people, what I'm gonna have you guys do, and I'm gonna start with somebody different each time. Let's go on a roll again. Do something else. And
Please don't leave me with two unhinged teammates.
Retired.
Retired. Okay, so
Okay.
you'll be the retired bear. So all of you mark those on your sheet, and then every roll another d6.
You can be the grizzled, retired bear.
We'll see.
This is for bear type?
This is for bear type.
Okay.
So every rolls those, and then we will start this time with, since you went last, we'll start with Morgan this time.
I'm a honey badger.
Okay. The retired honey badger, and then you get the skill Carnage, which essentially means there isn't like a defined thing for those, I don't believe, but basically when you are doing something Carnage related, so basically when you're attacking, I think you get to roll an extra die and use the
Nice.
lower of the two. But we'll get into that in a minute. So awesome. And then we will do, let's see, it'll go Dylan next.
I got Grizzly. The
Okay.
unhinged Grizzly.
Oh no.
And you get the skill Terrify. All right. And then last is Savannah.
I also got grizzly, so I'm gonna roll
Okay,
again.
so roll again.
Oh, that time I got honey badger.
Okay.
Let's sit here for 10 years of Savannah rolls dice. Okay, I'm a black bear.
Okay. So you get a climbing
Yeah, I can climb things.
ability. All right, cool. So
Super
keep in
slick
mind.
at climbing.
Okay, and then last we'll do rolls. So roll for rolls.
Again. Oh no. Am I first?
Yeah, it's your first.
Can I roll again?
Nope. What'd you
I
get?
got face. I'm the face of the group.
Okay, so you're
Nice.
the
I'm
slick,
slick, yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay.
slick black
I
bear.
like it.
face.
I'm not though. Acting.
Okay. And then who hasn't gone second yet? I think it's Morgan.
Mhm.
Okay. I got the driver.
Driver. Okay. Okay. And then last will be Dylan.
Hacker.
Hacker.
Yes.
Okay.
Hack the planet.
Hack the planet. Okay.
I'm so
So
hoping someone would be a hacker.
awesome. So you have all of your skills now, and then last we would roll for hats. That is an optional roll you can do. It's just a bonus thing if you want to wear an awesome hat. But I think you all just have hats, so go ahead and put your hats on.
Your Huckleberry.
So
We're still unpacking, and all I had was this visor, but I want to be a part of the group.
I like the retired astronaut honey badger,
I drive spaceships.
cowboy grizzly bear driver.
Hacker.
Hacker.
Oh, hacker. That's right.
Oh boy.
And then the visor wearing.
I think my bear is kind of like a frat boy
Okay.
type deal.
I'm seeing that. So awesome. So that's what we ended up with. So let's go ahead and just talk about how the game works. We'll just breeze through the mechanics of this game because again, it is super duper duper easy. So essentially, you have two stats: bear and criminal. You use your bear stat when you want to maul stuff, run and climb, shrug off damage, scare people, generally do bear stuff. Criminal is for literally anything not related to being a bear. So if you're doing something and you're like, I don't think this is something a bear would do, you roll criminal. So the mantra of this game is WWBD. What would bear do? So the way that we roll for stats is D6s all around. When you act, so when we do something and you're not sure if you can succeed, pretty much like every role-playing game, you're going to roll a D6. If you are equal to or under your relevant stat, you succeed. So golf rules. If it's over, you fail. And everybody starts with 3 in both criminal and bear. So to succeed on any roll right now, you need to roll a 3 or lower. When you fail a roll, you change stats. So when a plan fails, you run a difficulty, you move 1 point from criminal to bear. When the plan goes off without a hitch, you move 1 point from bear to criminal. So pretty much anytime you succeed on one of your devious plans here, you're gonna become more criminal-like. Anytime you fail, you're gonna become more bear-like. And I think that's almost it. And then lastly, you can voluntarily move points from criminal to bear. So let's say you're getting real berry, and you wanna be a little bit gooder at doing criminal stuff. You can choose to move a point from bear to criminal by doing a flashback scene in which you and other bears plan out the heist over coffee and cigarettes in the back room of a seedy bar. Now, we won't use that exact scene. It's going to be you guys in your cells sort of talking over the plan, as we're going to kind of start here in a second a little bit. And then you can voluntarily move 1 point from criminal into bear, so become more bear-like, by eating a load of honey. So at some point you might come across some honey or something, or you can seek out honey. We're not going to really make this super grounded in reality. You can voluntarily move a point back the other way. And then you fail the game, you lose the game, if either stat reaches 6. So if all your points end up in criminal, then you have become the greatest criminal ever, and you are lured to a life of crime, and you betray the party. If you get all of your points in bear, you flip out, you bear style, and lose it, and then you are presumably picked up by animal control or something in an hour or so. And in the case of this game, when you go full bear, I assume you're going to run out to the woods and then be killed by a level 1 adventuring party. So that's how this will go. So yeah, any questions about those rules? Like I said, very easy. And we'll just sort of run with it. Do you guys have names for your characters? You're about to have to come up with names, so I just want you to think, because we're gonna jump into this in a few seconds. But to stall for you guys a little bit more, I will go ahead and set the scene for this prison break. Let's move to a different music. So, this world that we start in is one that's familiar to us. This is the world of Sarthia, a fantasy of magic, but just to the left, as we begin our game across the towering tree lines and glistening mountainscapes and looming darkness of the Twilight Realms. A familiar world to those of you that are watching Survivors Complex right now every Saturday at 5:30 Eastern Time. This world that we find ourselves in as we're soaring over the glistening shorelines, over endless forests and landscapes that stretch on as far as the eye can see. However, this is not where our party, where our trio of good-for-nothing bears begins their adventure, as the three of you are incarcerated. You are imprisoned in Zartakla Heights, a floating prison over the glistening Dreamer's Sea far to the northern edges, as my music stopped. of the Twilight Realms in a Fey prison where you have been locked up and keys thrown away since the last great rebellion of Bjornheim, your city of bears that you were all representatives of in some way, soldiers, military personnel of some sort, and you have been taken into this camp as prisoners of war and locked within this facility. It is a beautiful and dangerous, as I said, floating island in the sky, miles and miles above the ground below. And we come across the three of you who have been here for some time, years, maybe. Time is strange and non-linear in this world. You've grown accustomed to your facilities, this state-of-the-art prison, no money spared in its construction to keep the most dangerous of bear criminals incarcerated within. You carry about your normal day-to-day activities of various recreational bear-related actions in the yard. You have your slop hall, the where your food is given to you on a daily basis, and you have your cell. Pretty much the only three areas that you ever have any access to, as you are shepherded from one region of the facility to another. The guards, all Fey wardens and guards, keep you very much in line, very aggressive personnel, all keeping you under very close watch throughout your stay here within Zartakla. Now, as I said, you've been here for some time. However, as you are all in your cells, locked up for the evening, I think we'll say like the three of you probably share a cell. Well, they're fairly large. There are 4 cots, like bunk beds to the cells themselves, and the three of you have been staying there together for some time, gotten to know each other a bit. However, as you are locked up today, there is a 4th individual in the cell with you. He wasn't there when you left this morning, but he was locked up when the gates were locked in the evening, and he is currently sitting there leaning against the wall, kind of facing horizontally across the cell from one wall to another. This golden-haired bear, a bit shaggier in appearance, smaller, looks a bit younger, is leaning up against one wall, and he has a white object in his hand, which he is throwing against the other wall and bouncing back to himself, a small baseball, which he is throwing across the cell and bouncing just intermittently, catching with a glove. And he looks up at all of you as you come in and gives a nod. Says, I guess you're my roommates. Name's Steve. Steve McKing.
Sorry, did you say Steve what? McKean?
Steve McKing.
McKing. Okay, thank you.
Sup?
He says, who are you three?
We live here.
I mean names.
What do you want to know that for?
What's wrong with this one?
That's just how he talks. What's wrong with you?
Yes, Steve.
All right, fine. I thought I'd get to know my new roommates then. Be a little more personable, you might say.
Yeah, well, why are you in here?
Well, I suppose the same as the three of you. I locked up. I was part of the Bjornheim militia as well. We've made it a little bit longer than your battalion, but
How come I let you keep that? You didn't get to keep anything.
he points to the 3 hats that you guys are wearing. let you keep some things. I kept this.
Yeah.
He said, "Are you really not going to tell me your names?" This is going to be very difficult to narrate if I don't know your names.
Why don't you tell us first?
You already did.
My name.
Steve.
It's Steve.
Steve.
All right, Steve.
You talk
If
too
that
much,
is
my
your real
man.
name.
Oh my God. I'm Brock.
Brock. It's good to meet you.
Man, I'm Sweetie.
Sweetie?
Yeah.
The name's Lee. Grizzly.
And just swerve if I still mess with him.
Grizz, I feel like I know someone related to you. Do you have a brother named Bruce?
Yeah, I don't talk to him much.
I see.
He doesn't come to our visiting hours anymore. We're not on the best of terms.
Well, you got visiting hours. Ain't that cute? Well, he kind of looks around the room after you introduce yourselves, and he says, well, I see they don't call it the nest for nothing, do they? Other side of that wall, 1,000-foot express elevator straight to hell, huh? Not that you could even make it out. The walls lined with, kind of knocks them a bit. Adamantine, basically indestructible. The guards, a bunch of trigger-happy bulldogs just itching for an excuse to put you down. You look like you've had some scrapes, kind of looking over at Lee. I bet you've seen that firsthand.
They can try and put me down all they want.
He waits for you to stop your Braveheart.
Are you like Bear William Wallace?
I don't know. It just happened.
I love it. Let's roll with it. It says, after a dramatic pause, they say this place is escape proof. I aim to prove them wrong. What do you say? You ready to get out of here?
I like the sound of that.
I mean, if you actually do it. I want to get killed for you being an idiot.
You got a plan, Steve?
I figured you might have some insights into this place, but I've got a bit of a plan. Might be able to work something out. See, this won't be the first prison I've escaped from. And it won't be the last.
You don't seem to have
What's
very high
so funny,
aspirations.
Steve?
I'm just laughing until sitting there in that cowboy hat making faces at me. Oh man, this is gonna be
It's
hard.
called role-playing, Steve. You should try it sometime.
Steve, man, you gotta believe in yourself.
He says, so, you think we work together on this?
I mean, I guess if your plan's not shitty.
If that's what moves the plot forward, then I suppose so.
Listen, Steve, between you and me, Grizz kind of thinks he's in a TV show.
Grizz looks over at the wall like there's a camera there.
Thinks there's cameras.
They're always watching.
Are we sure we want to bring him with us?
Yeah, I like him.
He's pretty great in the scrap.
Well, all right then. The way I see it, we got two obstacles in getting out of here. Well, I guess more than two, but two big obstacles. Two of the insurmountable obstacles that we're going to surmount. I was scoping this place out a bit, and as they brought me in, I'm sure you've seen it here too. We can get out of these cells pretty easily. You look pretty big. I imagine we could do that without too much of a hitch, but some of the doors that block off the wards between each other, the sections of the prison, they're locked by some sort of mechanism. You gotta have a key card or some sort of entry code that the guards have. We need one of those. The other issue we're gonna have, he kind of looks out in the hall and says, well, I guess Grizz here isn't too far off. They are watching. Points up at the CCTV network that lines the prison. Says we're gonna have to do something to deactivate or bypass the cameras that monitor this facility. Now, if we can get access with the codes and we can keep ourselves from being detected by the cameras, well, then it's just a matter of hitching a ride out of here. And I happen to know that some dignitaries are making their way here for an inspection in a day. They're gonna have a nice little chariot we can snag for ourselves. Fly on out of here.
I like the sound of that.
So we got to move fast. So I don't know what sort of skills you bring to the table, but better lay our cards down and come up with a plan together. What do you say?
Seems like a pretty good plan.
Brock is in.
All right. Does Brock only refer to themselves in the first person?
That's the third person, Steve. And trust me, I'd know.
I don't know, man. I skipped English most of the time.
All right. Well, let's come up with a plan then. So, I'm trying to decide what the best way to do this plan is. I kind of want to move forward and then refer back to the plan and retcon, but I also don't want to sit around here planning this whole thing out for forever. So I'll leave it up to you guys. You guys want to sit down and come up with a plan and character?
I think for everyone's sake, we should hear as little talking from me as possible.
Nah.
You committed this voice. I want you to,
I did.
talk. I think Steve looks over to you, Grizz, and says, what can you do?
Well, people say I'm pretty intimidating.
Yeah, I get that. But I mean, what can you do that might help with the situation? What sort of skills do you bring?
I'm pretty good with electronics.
All right. So you think you can do something about this TV network if we get you to the right spot?
Oh yeah, I can hack in.
All right. So we've got somebody that can deactivate the cameras. Now, what about the cards, the key cards?
I'm pretty positive that Brock can talk one off a guard.
All right. So, boo. He nods his head and says, "All right. Well, I think we can get one of those during feeding time tomorrow. So we can snag one of those off the guards when we're in the yard." And then I don't suppose you have anything, any skills to contribute there. Looking at you, I've already forgotten your character's name.
Hey, why you gotta be rude
Sweetie.
to Sweetie like that? What's wrong with you, man?
He
I
says,
got plenty of skills.
"What can you do, sweetie?"
Well, pretty good in a fight, and I'm real good driving stuff. Anything.
All right. Can
I can
you?
drive it.
How good are you at flying?
I mean, I got some experience.
Do you actually have a NASA hat? Are we making NASA a thing in this world?
I mean, I don't know what it stands for, but
We'll figure it out. Something space agency.
Space Force.
He nods that too. All right, well, we got a getaway driver then.
Yeah.
Seems like I got put in the right room. All right, so we'll have to get that card first before we can get to the CCTV monitoring station. I think that's actually in the warden's office, so that might be a little difficult to get to, but one thing at a time. So let's sleep up. We'll do a little more planning, and we'll move fast tomorrow then. So he goes back to throwing a ball against the wall. So you all rest for the night. Sleeping is fitful as you all plan and prepare and worry over the coming days' events and the escape that will inevitably go off with many hitches. You wake the next day to the buzzer sounding and the guards banging on the doors or the bars of your cells as they all swing open, and you're all escorted out into the yard for rec time. So you've got the guards or this perimeter kind of at the center of the facility, all the buildings built around you, these tall multi-tiered structures forming sort of this column in every direction, and there are guards that are walking the parapets, looking down, carrying large, I don't want to introduce guns to just everybody, so crossbow. Yeah, we'll go with like heavy crossbows, and they're scanning down all you. There's some guards on the ground too that are kind of standing at the corners of the perimeter and keeping an eye on all of the relative groups, the gangs that have formed within this bear prison. And yeah, so what are you doing?
Well, we need a key card, right?
Yeah.
Do all the guards carry key cards?
Yeah.
Excellent. I got a plan, sweetie. I'm gonna need your tiny hands.
Oh yeah.
Right. I'm gonna bro it out a little bit, distract one of the guards. You just pick the card right out of the pocket.
All right. I think I can do that. You're pretty big. I could probably hide behind you for a bit.
Yeah. Let's do this. I want to find the, like, beefiest, strongest looking, vainest looking, like one that obviously, like, cares about their physique. That's what I want to look for.
Okay. So you find, you look around and you do see there's one guard, and all the guards here are elven. But he's built like typical elven sort of height, but like stacked.
He goes to the gym.
Yeah,
All right.
You can see. And he's over there, and you actually, I think you know his name because you've been here for some time. It's Hans.
What else would it
be? So he's gonna be like crawled like onto
like a backpack.
Yeah, like trying to hide.
Your backpack. All right, I'm gonna like kind of bebop around the yard a bit. I'm looking at something to, like, I'm looking for something to do. There's like a rock climbing wall here? I like climbing.
No, I don't think there's a rock climbing wall in the prison. That seems like that would be tactically a bad idea.
Like one of the like freestanding ones. I don't know. It's your it's
no,
your universe.
I mean that would
okay.
provide too much cover for prisoners.
Fine. I just like do a couple of laps, real nonchalant, and then
they're free weights if you want to.
Yeah, I kind of
I'm on the
like
bench press.
check out the weights a little bit, and then I'm like side a little Hans and be like, Hans, right?
He says, "What do you want, prisoner?"
Bruh. You lift?
He sort of scoffs and says, "But of course I lift.
I mean,
Do you not see these guns?"
Yeah, I mean, you lift, bruh.
kind of gets a little more professional, and he says, "Return to the yard, prisoner."
I mean, I want to, man, but like, come on. You gotta teach me your ways.
All right, go ahead and roll. Criminal.
You got this.
What am I? That is a 2.
2. Okay, so that's under
That's
your
good,
stat. Yeah. So now I'm trying to decide the way we did this before. Just go ahead and move the point. We'll see how the whole thing plays out, and then we'll come up with it. So
I don't remember how this game.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so you sort of kind of show off in a bit, like talk him up a bit too, and I think he starts to respond, and I think he says, "All right, so the secret to the to the Hans workout routine."
Yeah.
Workout.
Teach me the Hans method, man. I gotta know.
Well, it all starts with the diet. You have to have a high protein and low carbohydrate diet. Now, if you die, and he starts going into the long diatribe, which I'm not going to do.
I'm into it. I'm not. I'm fake into it, but I'm like. Okay.
So what are you doing?
Hans' biggest fan.
What are you doing, sweetie?
Okay, well, when I see that like they're starting to get into it, I'm just gonna like carefully off of Brock's back, and like, is he? So I'm assuming like the key card is like on his person. It's not like he has like a bag that he's like set down or anything like that.
No, it's like clipped to his belt.
Okay.
I think if I know Sweetie's gotten off my back, I try to get him to like demonstrate stuff, so he's like doing something and not focusing too much on other parts of his body.
Okay. Oh, and I should have had you roll. I think you get to roll. You should have been able to roll 2, Savannah, because you were doing your thing as the face in that situation. But you succeeded anyway, so it doesn't work. Doesn't matter. So, and I'm gonna. So if you're doing something that relates to your role or your skill, make an argument for it, and you can roll 2 dice instead of 1. Gives you sort of that advantage. Anyway, so sweetie, you are trying to find that opening and then snag the key card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like waiting, like maybe if he like bends over at all, just kind of like me.
Okay. Go ahead and we'll say this is criminal too.
Okay, so I just roll 1, right?
Yeah, you just roll 1 because I don't think you have anything that applies.
No. Oh, that's a 4.
Ooh. Okay. So that's that is not a success. So I think what happens is you go to reach for the key card, and as you reach for it, your claws, your nasty, like gnarled honey badger claws, actually miss because he sort of twists as he goes forward to demonstrate a lunge, and you slash at his belt, cutting it. And as he goes in lunge and stands back up, his pants fall down. And it's just he grabs on it quickly, and he wheels around on you, sweetie. He says, he yells, he begins to yell at some language you don't really understand, Sylvan, which sounds a lot like German in this circumstance, but I'm not going to try to impersonate that for fear of offending any Germans out there. As he begins to yell at you, he then motions to a couple of other guards, and he says, "Take this one, throw her in isolation for the rest of the day."
Hey man, I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. You just have such a beautiful body. I just had to touch it. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to decide how Hans. I don't think that helps the situation at all.
Oh no.
I don't think that's. Yeah, I think Hans is now like grows like red. His face is growing like a beet red, veins bulging on the sides of his head, and he continues to get the guards to come over. So the guards come over and they grab Sweetie and they drag her off.
Is his belt still on the ground?
I'll say it is on the ground.
I forget grab the key card when he's not looking.
Okay, yeah, you grab. I think that's not even a roll. It's lying on the ground and he's yelling at her. So you grab the key card. Mixed success.
As they're dragging her off behind Hans, going.
So, but Sweetie is now lugged off out of the rec yard and off to isolation.
Okay. Do I have to mark off on a thing that I failed that?
So yeah, what I'm going to say is you put one into you take one from criminal, put it into bear, and face, you put one from bear into criminal. Since the two of you were involved in that plan and had mixed results.
I feel like it was a success.
Okay, but you're still in the yard with Grizz, but now Sweetie is gone.
Yo, I got it.
Nice.
I think everyone looks over at Grizz
today.
What?
Nothing, man. I like your hat.
Thanks.
Yeah, okay.
And I think you see Steve is on the other side of the yard, has actually been able to find two walls that line up enough and is still sitting there leaning against the wall, throwing the ball.
I hate this guy.
And just continuously finds a way to do that no matter where he is. But as you finish your plan and you make your way over to him, he looks up from the wall at you with those sultry eyes and says, "So, how'd it go?"
All right.
You got it?
Yeah.
Where's your friend?
Sweetie, though.
Ah, shit. We need her to get out of here.
That's for the rest of the day.
We don't have that kind of time. We got to get her out, too.
I could probably bust her out.
That's going to make a lot of noise. We're going to have to move fast. So, go bust Sweetie out and then deactivate the cameras, or split up and do that.
Would I know if the doors are on on a system where I can, if I sneak into the place with the camera, I can also unlock?
Yeah, it's all on the same closed circuit system. So you could, if you were able to hack the cameras, then you could potentially, or if you were able to get there, you might be able to unlock all the doors as well, and just let everybody out.
I've got a better idea. Instead of just letting Sweetie out, what if I let everyone out?
I like it.
You got a few screws loose, don't you? Hello?
Hello?
I can't decide if this is in character if his internet's going out. Okay. We're gonna move on from that. So where are you guys going? So what was the plan? You guys are gonna go
Right. So if we can get Grizz into the room with all of the stuff, then we're golden, right?
Well, I would assume that there are guards in the room with the cameras.
I think Steve says, "Nah, I think it's just one guard that you're gonna find in there. I think it's the warden. It's her office after all."
what he said.
You bash some skulls.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this quick so we can get Sweetie out. Okay, so you guys just walking across the yard and opening a door?
I think someone needs to cause a distraction. You know, start a fight, stab someone, I don't know.
Now, stabbing somebody seems like a big leap here, but I can cause a distraction so the two of you can get out. Just don't leave without me, okay? And I think Steve goes across the yard. And I don't know if anybody's going to get this reference, but he takes his baseball, and as he's throwing it, he sort of accidentally or feigns to throw it too far, and it goes and it rolls over to the fence, and he steps across a barbed wire that is lined in the ground and walks over to the fence. Then one of the other German-looking guards comes over to him and starts yelling at him, and it starts this whole conflict. I don't know if anyone else has seen The Great Escape, but that's what happens. So as you're doing that, everyone begins to gather over in that area as he's having this conflict with the guards over there.
All right, then I guess I head to the door.
Okay, you go to the door, put in your key card, and the door clicks and then slides open, and the two of you can rush through. Okay, so Sweetie, you're being dragged down the hall and thrown into isolation. Are you going willingly?
It's kind of like trying to like wiggle out of there. Try to. But not fighting too much. Because she's like remembering like, I'm going to have a flashback to the plan. Remember that we talked about opening, unlocking things, and so like maybe they'll unlock the door so I can get out. So maybe I should just wait here for them.
Okay.
Like the voiceover of like thinking of like the plan that happened.
So thinking about back when you're sitting in the cell and you guys coming up with this plan that if any of you were to get separated or thrown in isolation, you would wait. Okay. So you're trying to move a point back into criminal?
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of calm down, feeling your natural honey badger senses taking over and trying and ready to just tear some throats out. But you calm and you get back to Sweetie levels. And just as you are thrown into the cell and the door is shut and you're in a quiet and dark interior. Okay, so we'll go ahead and skip back to the other two as the two of you make your way down the hall and are navigating the inner workings of the prison. Many of these areas you've never been before, but maybe following some crude map that you have drawn out of the interior. And you go to turn a corner, and there are, you quickly kind of pull back as there are a group of guards that are walking past, and you hide there as there, 3 or 4 of them just clump on past, not paying any attention to you, and your Kronk poses on the wall, doing your theme music. Yeah. Works perfectly. And then you continue down the hall, navigating the inner sanctums of the prison. And I think as you are making your way through, you do smell something delicious coming from one of the rooms that you pass. And you get a vague kind of slight glimpse in, and you can see there is the mess hall, or the cafeteria for the prison staff and the guards, and you see that they have finished their morning their breakfast that morning, and the cooks are beginning to pack up everything. There's some still eating that were on the later shifts, but the cooks are bussing or taking trays from the tables that were left there and are behind the little cafeteria lineup, cooking food or preparing. And what you see that they have prepared here today is a favorite dish of Bjornheim: plates and plates of honey buns.
Brock!
Grizz.
I want it.
I know, man. We gotta go.
Okay.
Or maybe we can snag just like 2.
Let's do it on our way back.
What if they're gone by then, though?
Let's get them.
Let's do it. I would like sneak up to the door, like.
Okay, there are some guards in there.
I'm doing this. I'm not actually holding a gun. There's like guards everywhere, man.
Not a whole lot. I'd say maybe like 3 guards.
There's like a couple of guards, man.
Is there a janitor's closet anywhere nearby?
Sure. I'd say you passed one a little bit down the hall.
Maybe grab some supplies and make it look like we're there to clean.
Yes. I dress up as a janitor.
Okay. The bears dress up as elven janitors to try to... Okay, so you go back and you...
Like if they have a cart, I'll like push it.
Okay, so you go back and you get your classic sort of overalls. There's not a word, or coveralls is the word I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You get your blue coveralls with the prison kind of logo on it. The cleaning staff.
I want one of those like the mop buckets that have wheels that roll.
Okay, and you get your mop bucket. You get a mop bucket, and Grizz, you get a big trash can that you're pulling behind, and the two of you wheel around into the room. And as you wheel into the room, some of the guards are still eating, and one of them stands up.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Wait. We need to disguise our voices in case someone tries to talk to us. And we need fake names.
Why don't you just let me talk?
I'll be Brock, you be Grizz.
Okay, that sounds good. Just let me talk.
Okay.
Now, I also will say, all the guards in here have German accents, and all the staff have German accents.
I've got a plan.
Okay.
I wheel in towards one of the tables. Start picking up honey buns. Just like setting them gently into the bottom of what I assume is an empty trash can with a clean bag in it.
Sure.
That we prepared before we came into this room.
Okay.
I just start doing that.
I think one of the guards looks up from their breakfast and stops for a moment. I haven't seen you around here before.
Work release.
Okay. I don't. I want to push that more, but I don't know how. Go ahead and
that was the plan.
Go ahead and make a criminal roll, and you're the face, so you can roll twice.
That'd be too much criminal too quickly. I mean, that's a 3 and a 2, and I have a 4. So
yep, you succeed. The guard says, I did not know that we had a work release program that was going into effect. All right. Well, yeah, and sort of scoots the tray across the table. And you take it and throw it in the trash can, and looks over to Grizz, who has his face covered, and says, what is your name?
He won't talk to you.
Really?
They cut out his tongue while he was in the joint.
That is very gruesome.
Yeah.
Was that here?
No, somewhere else. I don't know. I never learned the name of the place on account of they cut out his tongue.
Ah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Then how did you know they cut out his tongue in the joint?
Used to draw like pictures in the dirt. It got really sad. He just kind of stopped.
Just awkward silence, I think, ensues for a few seconds. And the guard sort of scoots back and says, well, carry on then, and begins to make his way out of the and just leaves the room. There are a couple other guards in there, but you make your way around and begin to scoop up honey buns into the trash can, and then wheel your way back into the hall.
Yep.
So you have now janitor disguises, and you have a trash can full of honey bun scraps.
Grizz, man, I think that was your best acting yet.
Oh, really?
That was good, yeah.
Oh,
The way you didn't
thanks.
talk at all.
Well, I've been thinking about auditioning for a play.
You should, though. Follow your heart, man.
You're right, Brock. You're right.
I was a frat boy for like 20 minutes and now I'm a hippie, but yeah.
Hey,
Graduation
follow
did
your
some good
heart.
things for me.
So I'll actually take this time to do the tie up the trash bag, because I'm assuming it's one of those like big black trash bags.
Wait.
Yeah.
I take one and I eat it. Does this count as eating, honey?
Oh yes, I'll totally eat one too.
I don't want to be so criminal.
You have to eat a couple. But yeah, that's
And
How
then
many
I'll
did we
tie,
get?
I'll tie it off so that way if I need to, I can just yank it up and carry it with
Yeah.
me.
Okay, so you've got a trash bag full of delicious honey buns, and you can use that to move a point into back from criminal into bear.
Balance is restored to Brock's universe.
So now we can head to the
I've been trying to figure out a way.
warden's office.
I've been trying to work out a way. No, I'm still going to find a way to do it, so I'm not going to say yet. Okay, so you make your way down the hall and eventually come up to the warden's office. And you know it's the warden's office because there's a big sign that says warden's office.
All right. Now I've got a plan. You said I should follow my heart in acting.
Yeah.
Let's do get help.
Chris, I don't want to get help.
We should do get help.
I always look like an ass when we do get help.
But it works every time.
Why can't I?
I like grab her arm and put it over my shoulder.
Alright, fine. Do get help.
Is the door like a key card, or can I just open it up?
Wait, I've got the key card, first of all. Stop stealing things out of my pockets.
No, I don't think this door is a key card on it. I think that's only the doors that go from the prison facility to the or the inmate facilities into the like staffing facility.
Okay. I make sure there's no like guards in the immediate area,
Mm-hmm.
and I fling. And I go, wait. Should I do the German accent? Because I've got a pretty killer German accent.
Follow your heart, Grizz.
I fling the door open and I go, "Oh, Warden! Get help! You must get help! My friend is hurt!"
That's probably still better than mine. Okay, you you fling open the door and you begin to pull pull Brock in, and you've got her arm on your shoulder. And Brock, are you just dead weight right now?
I'm faking it. I'm an accomplished actor.
Sure.
An
sure.
accomplished.
Brock was a theater minor.
Okay. I'm just gonna have this be a criminal roll for Grizz.
I would say this is not a thing that bears would do.
Yes. Only once have I seen bears do this.
A 3.
That's is your because your criminal is still a 3, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So that's a success. So you pull her in, and you see the room is dimly lit, and there are all these monitors on the far wall illuminating the interior of the room with a few chairs in front of it. And then on the other side of the room is sort of a desk and an office and a chair. And you see standing up from the desk and coming around is the warden, who is a shorter, older elven woman, and sort of hunched, and she's coming around in your direction. She's in her sort of matronly voice says, "Can I help you? What is going on right now?"
Is she like in the open? Like,
yeah, she's coming around the desk.
I just take Brock and throw her into the warden.
Okay,
as hard as I can.
You take Brock and you throw Brock towards the
as
warden.
much as I can control my body, I'm just gonna throw a shoulder right into her.
This matronly older elven woman,
and then just dead weight on top of her.
I'm unhinged. What can I say?
I'm a bear at grandma, so I can't decide whose bear roll this is. I'm gonna, since you got to make the criminal roll, I'm gonna let Brock make the bear roll, since you're sort of doing the.
Okay.
Cool.
Is this something I'm good at?
No.
Because I'm
unless it's
faking it.
No. This is straight. This is more of like an.
Okay.
I'm making an argument for either why your face skill or your terrify skill would apply here.
I don't have a terrify skill.
Oh, sorry, you're the black bear. Your climbing skill,
which is even worse.
Which I think that accent was pretty terrifying. Which is what I was going for.
It was a little terrifying. I mean, I think that the ability to. I mean, I don't think that being the face of the group really just includes your face. I mean, I think acting is a whole body exercise. So I think my ability to pretend like I'm dying, but also shoulder check grandma and still be convincingly like injured and dead weight, it is a face skill.
Yeah, you probably would have played like flag football or something in college.
Yeah, I think I did that a lot. Also.
Okay. Okay.
Can I roll with advantage?
Sure, you made enough of an argument.
I think Honey Heist is a big game of who's the most full of shit. Oh, I'm so glad. I rolled a 5 and a 2.
Okay.
Woo.
Well, the 2's enough. So yes. You go flying across the room and you kind of catch yourself in midair and straighten yourself out, and then you just shoulder check straight into the abdomen of Warden Grandma. And you, I think you throw her backwards. You hit her, and then she goes flying about 7 feet back, straight into the bookshelf, and she slams into the bookshelf.
I kind of forgot that I'm a giant bear and she's a person.
Yes, she slams into the bookshelf with a heavy thud and falls to the ground, and you just hear this kind of blow, like before she falls unconscious.
Oh no, that was the best. And then I look into a camera that's not there.
My dude, that was the best iteration of that plan.
Bear 5.
It doesn't make any sound because we have pause.
It just kind of fell.
Like 2 pillows hitting each other.
2 very large pillows.
2 very large, dangerous pillows.
So then, so since I'm here, I, sit down at the desk and get to work.
Okay.
Hack the planet, man. First. Hack the planet.
Okay. And I think you see the on the CCTV monitors, you see them all illuminated, and then you see in the corner the isolation cells, and you can see Sweetie currently sitting in one of the cells.
Well, I think at this point she's probably like running around in circles.
Okay, I get really close.
Like, I want out of here.
I get really close to the screen and I go, "Don't worry, I'll get you out of there, sweetie." And I just start hacking the planet.
Okay.
Quit looking into the camera. It's scary every time.
So I think you. So you're starting with letting her out. Before you disable the system, I assume. Are you letting everyone out?
No, I'm opening all of the cells.
Okay. So here's what happens. You actually go ahead and make me a criminal roll.
Do I get advantage?
Yes, because this is hacking related.
A 3 again.
Okay, well that's still a success. So you, yeah. So here's, and actually, what I'm going to say is, given how that plan went, you've actually moved 1 point from bear into criminal.
Sweet.
From before, so even more successful. But okay, so you begin to gain control of the system, and lights are flashing, and the computer screen's whirring to life, and then you watch as you hit the last, we see as Grizz hits the last button, there is suddenly this kind of clicking, and you hear this echoing throughout the whole facility as every locked door in the facility now opens. And Sweetie, as you were sitting in your isolation cell, the door just opens up.
I'm out of here.
Do you just go sprinting towards the where you know your friends are right now?
just like running around, just ball of energy.
Okay. So you're going and you're en route to meet up with the rest of your criminal compatriots. And I think actually, as you are coming out of the cell, you look to your left and you can see 2 guards that are currently dragging Steve to an isolation cell after he was captured in his attempt to cause a distraction. And the guards drop him for a second as they see you come running out, and then there are other prisoners that are running out, and the whole place is being swarmed. Then alarms start to go off, and this chaos begins to build, and Steve comes running up behind you and says, "All right, let's go." And the two of you go rushing off in the direction of the warden's office. Anything else you're doing while you're hacking the system? You have control over the system's facilities.
Yeah, I'm also going to shut down the cameras.
Okay. And then as you see that Sweetie is safe and out, you click another button and phew, all the cameras turn off. Leaving just these staticky screens in front of you. All right. And I think for the sake of brevity, the door busts open and Sweetie and Steve come rushing into the office, as well as now the 4 of you stand in the warden's office, and you can hear the chaos in the facility coming to a boil as you hear the sounds of the prisoners now fighting the guards.
Oh, you brought Steve.
Well, you said you were gonna come back for me.
Oh no! What I'm saying, man, is like, oh yeah, you brought Steve. Like, we don't even have to go get you. You're already here.
Yeah, I know, right? I did good.
Yeah, I'm getting the feeling that you were gonna leave without me now.
Nah, man, nah. Brock isn't like that.
I'm watching you, Brock.
Steve will remember this.
And
Steve will remember.
And I think you all hear a groan from the other side of the room, and you all look over, and you can see now standing on the other side of the desk, a bit of blood running down the side of her face, hunched over. You see Warden Grandma, who's there and says, "I am watching you too. I was prepared for this moment." And she slams her hand down at the table, And where her fist hits the oak table beneath her hands, you see a section of it that she hits, a square indentation, suddenly shift down. And as it does, there's this click, and the room itself around you begins to turn like a deep, like red color and flashing. And she says, "I have lined this entire facilities with C4 explosives. None will make it out of here alive."
What is this universe that we're living in where we have C4 and not guns?
This is my universe.
Where are we?
I want to grab Steve's baseball because I'm assuming he's still like bouncing. I like grab it out of the air.
Yeah.
And I get ready to throw it, and I go, "Now look here, lass. This is a 44 league baseball. I can throw this up to 105 miles per hour. So you have to ask yourself one question. Do you feel lucky, punk?"
Are you gonna throw the ball?
No, I'm like trying to terrify her.
Trying to terrify her. Go to roll up. Go with. God, I can't decide. No, this is definitely criminal. I'm gonna say it's criminal.
But you get to use your super bear skills.
You do get to use it. Yeah, you do get your 2 rolls.
I keep forgetting we're bears.
So my attribute like give me something? Like it gives me advantage?
You roll twice and you take the lower
Okay.
of the 2. Yeah.
Cool.
And you're trying to be your criminal stat right now.
Yeah. A 3 and a 2.
Okay, that's definitely enough. She sees the she sort of backs away from the table a bit, and she says, "It is too late now. I have started the countdown." And it will. This accent has just evolved into. I don't know what it is anymore. I can't do a German accent. I don't know why I went with this.
You're not real German.
I know.
I bet you're not a grandma either.
She says, "The countdown has already begun. This facility will detonate in 5 minutes."
5 minutes? What are you still doing here then?
She
You
says,
look out with the ship or something?
"I've poured my life into this facility. I die here as well."
You're crazy.
Yeah, so you have fun. Brock and the gang are gonna peace out. Let's go. I start running for the door.
Okay.
I like slowly back up out of the door.
Chris, come on.
Okay. So you all go running out into the hall, and you see just the chaos that has erupted in the facility. Oh, I need to change the music because now we are in the...
Wait, don't you have to move a point?
Do I have to move a point?
Yeah, actually, that succeeded. So you move a point from bear into criminal.
I don't want a rules Nazi honey heist.
So hold on. So I move one of my bear points into a criminal point?
Yeah, so your bear...
Was I supposed to do that the other time?
Yes.
All the time. You
whoops.
only have 6 points forever.
Oh, okay. I understand. Yeah.
So
Well, it didn't matter anyway because I didn't make that roll.
Are you at 1...
No,
Are
I'm
you-
5 and 2.
5 and 2? Okay. No. You can't be 5 and 2. You'd have to be... They have to total 6.
Then yeah, I'm 5 and 1.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I clicked the thing twice, but it didn't go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 5. I'm at 1 bear, 5 criminal.
You're getting real close to losing.
Yeah. Okay. As that point of clarity sinks in, your acting skill is suddenly becoming the most useful skill in this game now. You now all go running out into the hallway, and you see the chaos that has erupted out here. You see randomly paper towel and or toilet paper like strung throughout the ceiling. You see that is on fire, and you see that there are bears that are fighting the elven guards, and there are small like magical explosions going off throughout the facility because I don't want to forget this is a fantasy world. And there are guards that are unconscious on the ground and bears that are unconscious on the ground. There's just chaos going on throughout here, and you have to make it across this facility almost in its entirety to get to where the dignitaries, the carriage has arrived that will be your escape vessel. And Steve, after having grabbed his baseball back out of your hand, says, all right, we got to go, and just starts running off ahead of you.
I take, what's your name? Sweetie! I take Sweetie, and I just, like, push her to the front of the group, and I'm like, this is your moment.
Yeah.
Take off running.
As we're running, I've like got the bag of honey buns, and I'm like,
Santa Bear over here.
You want to move a point from criminal into bear?
yeah.
Okay, you're just scarfing honey buns as you're running down the hall out of a trash can. Are you guys both wearing your janitor outfits?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I didn't change.
Okay. And as you round a corner, you see there is a small, like, phalanx of guards that are making their way straight towards you with their riot shields and their batons. And they see you and they begin to charge in your direction. What do you do?
Let me at him.
I throw Sweetie.
Okay,
I forgot she's got little legs. I'm just gonna pick her up and just, like, underhand, like, toss her.
Okay.
Just into the middle of the phalanx.
All right. Sweetie, go ahead and roll. This is going to be a bear roll because your carnage skill will give you
a bear roll.
A bear.
Do a barrel roll.
Okay, that's a 3.
Okay, so that's a success. You leap into the center of this cluster of guards and go tearing at them, ripping armor, and all of you just watch in horror. And Steve sort of looks away as there is Brock cheers.
Brock has reverted to full on, like, student section football game. Like, yeah!
Even, like, begins to paint your face. Okay, and there's chunks of armor flying across the room. People, the elves screaming as they're being torn to shreds. And then because we're going for a PG rating here, as all the armor is torn, you just see Sweetie that is standing in the middle, just armor and broken riot gear and shields scattered across the ground, and the guards just running down the hall as fast as they can. Away from her.
It's like, Sweetie, don't give a fuck!
All right. So continuing your exit from this facility, you go rounding another corner, more guards fighting the prisoners, and you all hear that sound, this blurring, this siren going off that is now coming over the loudspeakers, and there is a voice that is now counting down from around you, and it is still high in numbers right now. I think it's like 298. 297.
Why would they do the countdown like that? Why not like 4 minutes?
Nope, just counting down one at a time. It's really annoying.
I hate this place.
This is the worst. We gotta get out of here.
I like full on this 4 legs bear sprint.
Okay.
I don't know how fast bears are, but I feel like it's really fast.
Probably.
Like a black bear, I feel like is like a race car, probably. Sweetie, come on!
I feel like that's probably like 30 something miles an hour.
So like a really shitty race car. I let Sweetie jump on my back. She's got tiny legs.
Okay. So Sweetie is on the back of
Backpacking it.
And you're running through the facility, running, and you get to the part. Actually, all the doors are open. You don't need the key card anymore. And finally, you burst out into the into the courtyard. Actually, a facility or part of the prison that you haven't been to in a long time. The entry or the processing grounds where all of you were brought in when you first come here, and you look out and you can see the sun, you can see the mountains far beyond, and then you see the drop off about 100 feet ahead of you where the edge of this prison is. And there are guards out here too that are scrambling around dealing with some of the bears that have made it out this far. And on the far end of the grounds, you see a carriage, much like any other you'd see on the ground. However, it has in front of it, or at the front, instead of 2 horses, it has 2 pegasi that are connected to the reins, or reined at the head of the wagon. And is glistening and golden and inlaid, and has this gaudy and beautiful, like, monstrosity of a carriage.
Let's go, boys.
And the countdown continues. And actually, after this point, after all the running you've done, it's gotten much lower, and it's 50, 49, 48. 47 as it's continuing to count, and you, as you're going running up, another group of guards are now bearing down on you. What do you do?
I think Morgan was talking, but I can't hear you.
There you go. There you go.
Should I fight these guys?
What do you think, Grizz?
I mean, you're gonna have to fight them. They're like right in front.
Oh, okay, that's not the choice.
No, the choice isn't fight them. I'm wondering who's gonna fight them and who's doing what.
I will take the trash bag full of honey buns and start like Olympic hammer throw, like spinning around and just like a wrecking ball, just right into him.
Okay. I'm gonna loosely classify this under bear.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, Olympic sports are something that bears compete in. Don't worry about it.
They should.
No,
Bjornheim.
mostly just the aggression. I don't know. This
is Bjornheim, and they do have
Look, if
sort
Sonic
of an
can
Olympics every
if,
year.
If Sonic can compete in the Olympics, I think Grizzly can
Hard
compete in
agree.
the
Hard
Olympics.
agree. You're right. I agree.
It's
Okay.
only fair.
so
This is loosely a bear skill.
To make it tier lower, so.
okay.
Oh no, you
and
should have eaten more of the honey buns.
I forgot to mention before, you moved a point into bear from criminal, Morgan, on your last roll.
Yeah, I got
That's a 5.
Okay, so I think what happens is as you're spinning with the bag full of honey buns, it connects and you get that solid hit, but the bag of honey buns isn't as sturdy as you might have thought, and it catches on part of the riot gear, and you just hear this sickening, like, ripping noise as the bag tears open, and honey buns just go flying across the courtyard in like the slow motion.
Do they like sparkle in the sunlight?
Yeah, they're like glistening in the sunlight, the glaze.
Are we in an anime?
Yeah, and there's this
Yeah,
slow
Grizz,
motion.
in a trash bag full of honey buns.
There's this slow motion as every bear in that is on the yard watches, just in this like slack-jawed horror as the honey buns go sailing and sailing, and then off the edge of the yard and over the cliffside.
And I go, Sons of Bjornheim! They may take our honey, but they can never take our freedom! And I charge into the guards. Full sprint.
I'm strongly debating. Roll criminal for me.
No, William Wallace was not a criminal.
Well,
No, he totally
depends on
was.
who you ask.
True.
3, and my criminal skill is a 4. So.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Or wait, hold on. Because I failed bear, do I put a point into bear?
It would have shifted. You broke even.
Okay, so I'm back to 3 and 3. So it still counts.
Yeah, but then you succeed on this one, so it goes back
to 4 and 2.
Yeah.
What are the rules?
I am just emotionally all over the place.
It's almost like you're unhinged.
All the
almost
bears,
like I'm unhinged.
all the bears in the yard, inspired by that speech and the horror of watching the honey buns, this treasure of your people being thrown so carelessly over the pit. All the bears let out a billowing roar and go charging into the incoming the pursuing attackers or the guards, and this terrible battle erupts with the bears gaining the upper hand. So you fight off the guards and you actually manage to break through the defenses, and there is now a gap, like a hole, and that you all go rushing through and straight towards the carriage.
So his honey buns brought all the bears to the yard.
Yeah. Yep. That's what happened. Okay. So as you all go rushing over to the carriage, I assume Sweetie getting in the front, being able to drive it, and the rest of you.
She's gonna like get up there and be like, "Hang on, guys, I need a second," and like kind of like feel around the carriage, get a feel for it, how it'll ride.
Okay, it's a beautiful piece of machinery.
And she's gonna think back to her days when she was a getaway driver.
Okay.
And gonna try to get a point in criminal.
Okay.
Have a flashback.
So what's the scene? Go ahead and tell me what the what this memory is.
Let's see. So they were like in the war, and she was with this group who went to go steal a bunch of weaponry from the other side, and so she was driving the carriage. So they like snuck over there, and she's like ready to go, and they like throw on all the weapons that they stole, and she drives like a mofo out of there.
She's like Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah, dude. You got it.
Okay. You can move the point back.
Steal their cannons.
Sweetie won't abandon ship.
All right. This is okay. We're going to move back to the action scene then. If this is just evolving into Hamilton references.
Let it happen.
Yes, you can do that, and as you're focusing, and you focus back on that moment, and knowing you got through that, you can get through this too. So you get into the reins, and you hold the door up, or actually I don't know if I need to hold the door open for Steve to get in, but Steve, as he's approaching, he stops and he's like, all right, you take this, I've got a better idea. And he goes running off to the he goes running off to a smaller kind of shack, and there's a building or set of stables over off to the side. And he disappears in there for a second, and then suddenly you hear this roaring noise emitting from inside that shed that is next to the stables that you're at, and this flash of silver as this two-wheeled mechanism comes roaring out from inside the shed as Steve McKing comes riding out in a motorcycle and goes tearing across the yard. And as he hits he goes kind of cutting past a group of the guards that try to swing at him, and he clips them all, sending 3 of them flying. And then he comes roaring up past the 3 of you, and stops for a second, and as the roar of the engine around him, he says, all right, let's go, and he goes tearing off towards the cliff.
As he goes tearing off, I'm just like, bruh.
Like, hit on the reins, give these Pegasi.
Okay, you hit. They whinny and flap their wings and go. The hooves hit the concrete in front of you. They go tearing off, keeping pace with Steve. The three of you now on the wagon behind him as you're racing towards the edge of this cliff. And as you reach the edge of the cliff, the countdown behind you hitting that 10, 9. And you watch as the bears that were fighting have moved past the guards, and you watch as all of your bear companions, your fellow prisoners, go rushing over towards the edge of the cliff and leaping off, all of them pulling out sheets that they've taken from their cots and holding them over their head as they all go parachuting down to the valley below. This battalion of bears now descending slowly down to the forest floors beneath.
A bear-talion, if you will.
A bear-talion.
There's probably like one bear that's got like a bird in his backpack for some reason.
Yeah. Banjo and Kazooie come running up. So as the countdown hits the last few seconds, 3, you all go. Steve's motorcycle goes roaring off the edge. Your carriage goes sailing off too, and you suspend for a moment. There's that lurching in the pit of your stomach. Just as behind you, the countdown stops, and then you hear this rumbling as the whole island erupts into flames and explodes in a magnificent and humongous cloud of debris and fire and sparks shooting at these arcane colors left and right. As there's this deafening explosion behind you that actually rocks your wagon forward, and just as the Pegasi beat their wings and begin to pull you further and further into the air, you watch as Steve's motorcycle begins to glow as it also, the arcane inscriptions on the side roar to life, and his motorcycle begins to drive through the air as well. And you go cutting off into the distance as there's this magnificent and huge explosion behind you.
Guys, we gotta steal that motorcycle. I want it so bad.
Yeah.
And as you roar off to the south, you descend down over the trees, and you can see in the far valley beyond there is a wooden palisade that encircles a city that is familiar to the three of you. You see the city of Bjornheim nestled in a field of beautiful and multicolored flowers, a home that you have not seen for some time, and you go quickly racing off towards it to return home once again. And that's actually the end of this adventure today.
Yes.
We did it.
You did do it.
No one died this time.
Nope.
I came real close.
Yeah, Dylan hit
You
that
almost
5-1.
lost it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was unhinged, so I think it was justified.
Yeah, you played that real good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that I think, like I told the rest of you, I had very little planned for all of that, and you ran with it. Good job.
I think we did great, personally.
I wasn't expecting Dylan to one-up me with his references. And
Have you met him?
yeah.
Well, I'm so used to playing such a quiet character with Sadell, I had to get it out while I could.
Get it in.
Clearly, Grizz is going to have to be your next character for our games.
Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
But-
gosh.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Obviously, short little game here tonight. That is Honey Heist, though. It is very easy to put together. As you saw on the stream, we made these characters and played them in their entirety in the course of an hour and a half. So this is a very easy game to run. Highly recommend it if you're just looking to throw something together with some friends. when your other stream is canceled. That might be a little specific to our situation, but the idea behind it applies.
I would make the argument, being the most experienced Honey Heist player of the group. I'm just being a jerk. This game is excellent for people who want to run games but are scared to run games, like me, and also players who are maybe new to tabletop RPGs, who don't want to deal with a lot of rules. This game is super fun and silly.
Super fun.
Yeah, this is, if you have friends that you want to play D&D with, but you're not super sure about it, do Honey Heist instead.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Since we have a little bit of time, I'll just
We've got like an hour and a half.
Yeah, technically. Kind of looking behind the curtain here a bit, what I did to prepare for this game is essentially there's a table that it gives you to set up if you don't want to come up with something on your lonesome, and there essentially you just roll a d6 to come up with the where the location is and who the big bad is, the convention organizer if you're doing it by the typical rules. Obviously I kind of ignored those first two, came up with some myself for this, and then prizes and the parts that I used as far as the places rigged to blow and the CCTV network and the electronically locked doors. Those are just rolled randomly to come up with obstacles for the players to overcome. So that was fun.
Yeah, it gives you some good stuff.
Yeah.
And thanks to Grant Howitt, the creator of this game, who just puts this stuff out on the internet for free.
Yeah,
so if you want the Honey Heist PDF, just Google Honey Heist. You can just download this for free. You can just have it. It's great. Yeah. It's like 2 pages of rules, and you're set for a whole game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very easy.
And then I was going to say I'll also show his other game. If you like this game, but you want a little bit more rules or mechanics, a little bit of spellcasting and things like that, Grant Howitt also has this great 2-page game called The Witch is Dead, which I'm going to run at some point on this channel, which is very Honey Heist-esque by the same creator and everything, but it's this really fun game where you play as the familiars of a witch who has been killed by a witch hunter, and you're all out for revenge. So if you like Honey Heist, you like that kind of thing, also check out The Witch is Dead. Really cool, really fun, 2-page rulebook, kind of tabletop RPG that's easy to put together and fun for viewers like you.
And now we're PBS.
Shh, don't say that. They'll come after us.
Okay. So we're going to go and call it there. But I appreciate everyone out there watching. We will be back next week at this time for Timefall. So look forward to that. As I said before, we have Survivors Complex that will be on this Saturday, 5:30 Eastern time, and Wildspace on Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern. So look forward to those. If you're not caught up, all of that is on our YouTube, youtube.com/GGameKnights. That's 2 G's and a K. And if you need any announcements or want to know what's going on our channel, check out our Twitter. We try to keep people mostly up to date on that, especially when we're doing last minute impromptu gaming streams. But thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. And until then, good game and good night, Internet.
Good night, Internet.
Good night, Internet.
Good night, Internet.